let's go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining. Let's see here. So let me see if I can get my slides. There we go. Just a little Zoom etiquette 101. So like Liz said, we're going to be recording the call. And if you do use the chat function, if you are online, the chats you send will also be recorded. So please keep that in mind. If you called in with the telephone, just make sure your microphone and speakers are muted, having both. So, and then if you're on your computer and your phone, if you have them both working at the same time, that can cause feedback. Mute yourself to keep distractions and background noise to a minimum. And if you have limited bandwidth or service, you can turn off your video and camera to reserve your bandwidth. I just wanted to start off this evening and with our mission statement. So the Surfrider Foundation is dedicated to the protection and enjoyment of the world's oceans, waves, and beaches for all people through a powerful activist network. So we'll just keep that in mind tonight while we're all gathering together and why we're here. And so, yeah, let's do a quick little icebreaker. So we want to introduce ourselves. And since it's Washington Seafood Month, our Olympia chapter had this icebreaker, and I'm stealing it because I thought it was really cool. But it's Washington Seafood Month. So please introduce yourself and share your favorite seafood. So I'll go first. My name is Carmen Geyer. I'm the communications coordinator with our chapter. And my favorite seafood would have to be blue pool oysters.
Yummy.
Yeah. And so once you go, if you could just ask someone else to share. And so I will go to the phones. And Joe, if you want to go next, please.
Yeah, this is Joe, and I think my favorite seafood would have to be halibut.
Prepared how?
I like to slather it with mayonnaise and a little bit of garlic, slice of onion, and just bake it for a little bit, not too much, and it works out pretty good.
Nice. All right, Joe, do you want to pick someone next?
Yeah, I'll go with Arn Deb, Team Arn Deb. Go ahead.
Maybe I'll go first. Debbie Schouten, a Surfrider member for a number of years. My favorite seafood would probably be white king salmon, which is hard to find. Very delicious. I like it grilled and cooked in the oven.
Yum.
Nice. A rarity, but you're right. Delicious.
It is rare.
And this is Arnold Schouten, and I have to ditto that. So that makes it easy.
There you go.
Wait, I feel like that means you have to share like this rare white king salmon. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Dangerous.
Just like we share our email address.
Oh,
Yeah,
Johnson gets seen.
All right, who should go next, guys?
Oh, sorry, Nessa.
My video on. Hey guys, I'm Nessa Goldman. I've been a member for a couple years, and maybe really just like a year, an official member, but I've been on the volunteer and stuff for the last 3 years, and I've been helping out with the scholarship committee and whatever other random things that come my way. And I spread myself very thin. Anyway, let's have Todd go next.
Yeah, but you gotta, before I go,
seafood.
your
Crab.
seafood,
What about the seafood, man?
It's crab, and you know, I grew up like in Ontario where we didn't have crab, and it's like, yeah, how did I do that for so long? There, that's it. Yeah, Todd, you're up.
Awesome.
All right, my favorite is probably fresh caught lingcod fish and chips with a local brew. But I will pass that on to Nils.
All right. Yeah, I'm Nils. My favorite seafood, well, seafood's my favorite, so it's hard to pick one, actually. But I also like, I like halibut, just kind of fried up in a pan with butter and just nothing fancy, and then maybe a cream sauce, cream Parmesan sauce for added calories. Let me see. So, Gus, do you want to go next?
Sure. Thanks, Nils. I'm Gus Gates. I'm the Washington Policy Manager, one of two staff with Surfrider. And my favorite seafood is abalone. First started diving a little bit for abalone when I was a poor college student studying abroad in New Zealand, and was pretty hooked after that. And that love affair has continued. Pretty rare to find, though.
Yeah. Delicacy.
Who's your choice for the next?
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. I'll kick it to Liz.
Knew it. Liz Gottman. I'm the Washington Regional Manager, so the other of the two staff here in Washington for Surfrider. I'm going to go with what I said last time, which with the OPC chapter, which is wahoo, which is more of a tropical fish. It's like a badass open ocean predator. It's kind of like a big barracuda. And I just like it grilled with a lime, a cold beer, and a sunset, and that's life right there.
Yeah.
Just painted a beautiful picture. Yeah.
I'm starting to have reservations about my favorite.
All right, who's next, Liz?
Oh, yep. Let's go with Greg.
Yay.
Hey, everybody. My name's Greg. I'm Carmen's husband, in case anybody didn't pick up on the last name thing. I've been a Surfrider member for about a year. I'd say my favorite seafood would have to be salmon as well, but I like to eat it while it's still on the grill, from the belly up and the tail in. All right, and I'm going to throw this over to, how about Paul? You want to be up next?
Yeah, sure. I am a brand new member of Surfrider Foundation. I've been a member of Greenpeace for a while. I grew up in New York, Long Island, New York City. I'm an attorney here in Port Angeles. My favorite seafood used to be tuna. Yellowfin in particular, but I'm a big fan of just taking I was a big fan of taking slices of tuna, throwing them on a bowl of rice, and putting some soy on it. And but I switched to salmon just because of the shortage in the population of tuna has dropped so low. It's very, be very irresponsible. So I've really come to love salmon in the same respect. But as far as cooked fish, I had halibut, I think, for the first time at the crab festival last year. Halibut fish and chips, and it was amazing. So I'm a huge fan of halibut, but the tartar sauce has to be right, because the tartar sauce will destroy the whole thing if it's not right.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Hey,
Welcome.
Paul, this is Arnold. Let's hook up sometime and tell some New York stories.
Yeah, that'd be great. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another Long Island.
Yep. Yeah, out by the Hamptons.
Oh, okay. So you do you surf?
Yeah.
All right. Great.
All
Who do
right,
you
Paul,
choose,
who's
Paul?
next? Yeah.
Who do you choose, Paul? Next on the list.
Oh gosh, I'm not sure who's gone and who hasn't gone yet, but have you gone yet, Todd?
I have, but I'll choose Ethan.
Okay, Ethan sounds good.
Hello, I'm Ethan. And I don't really eat seafood anymore, but it used to be just fish and chips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm
Tried
more.
and true. Yeah.
Good
Welcome.
call.
Yeah. All right. Who do you choose, Ethan? Looks like we have Chris and Lacey left to go.
I'll go with Chris.
Is Chris there?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I had to get unmuted and video on. So I'm Chris Butler-Minor, and Since I've moved out to the West Coast, I've found that there are a lot of seafoods that I like out here. But it's a really close call for me between crab and sockeye salmon, especially if the sockeye salmon is grilled with capers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Gus says no.
Yes, my brother calls them little green balls of death, but he's wrong.
Note to self, if you put capers on your salmon, Gus won't steal it. So I'm writing that down.
Slather your salmon. All right, thank you, Chris. And Lacey, welcome.
Hi. Hi, I'm Lacey. I'm the volunteer coordinator. I grew up in Arizona, so my favorite seafood is fish sticks. No, I'm kidding. I've learned to actually love many things, but shrimp. Shrimp tacos.
Oh, yeah.
I like all of it. I love albacore, probably albacore up there for sure. It changes my favorite every day. So yeah, but I'm always looking to be introduced to new seafood too, because this is a great place to do it. But, yep.
Awesome.
I should have mentioned lobster.
Oh, never had lobster.
That's in Northeast, you know. Yep.
Awesome. All right. I think that's everyone. Did everyone get to go? Everyone accounted for?
Yeah, I'm gonna go
I just
to dinner.
forgot to add butter to my recipe.
Now that everyone's hungry.
Lots of butter.
Awesome. All right. So next up, we have our scholarship recipient, Ethan Cameron, on the line. And Nessa, if you'd like to kick us off with that.
Sure, yeah, so I don't know how long we've been doing the scholarships for. I don't know if Arnon and Debbie, if you guys know, or Joe. But this year we kind of opened it up to some more schools in Clallam and Jefferson County, and we had 3 recipients of the award this year, and Ethan Cameron is one of them, and who wrote an essay for us about addressing dog waste, because it's kind of been a constant plague for us. So Ethan came up with some really great ideas, and if you don't mind sharing that with us, Ethan, that would be great.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Ethan Cameron again. And starting this fall, I'll be going to AMDA in Los Angeles, which is a performing arts college. So I'm very excited about that, and the scholarship is definitely going to help me pay off my large student debt. Yeah, so I can just read my essay. Hello, my name is Ethan Cameron, and I've been in choir at Port Angeles High School for 4 years. I'm a senior this year, in the past, and I have a beautiful black lab mix named Cuddles. My mom and I take her on daily walks, and we have noticed that not even people in our own neighborhood pick up after their dogs. This became such an issue that one of our neighbors down the road actually ended up attaching waste bags to take for free on their mailbox. We bring our own bags on our daily walks, but not everybody else is as mindful. This is in a small county neighborhood, so the problem further into town and on beach trails is even worse. I've taken part in plenty of fundraisers in my day through choir. Last fall, we had a very successful fundraiser called the Pumpkin Fun Run, where we raised money towards scholarships for the year's seniors. Taking part in this event gave me the idea to raise money and awareness for the dog waste problem by utilizing an idea very similar in concept to this. If I were to do this, I would want to start a nonprofit organization. Nonprofits definitely have an easier time finding sponsors, so as a nonprofit, we would gather sponsorships from local businesses. This would be pet stores, insurance companies, banks, and other places that would like to get involved in community activities. Local radio stations and newspapers can be approached to sponsor for advertising to spread the word. I think that the Humane Society would be a great advertiser, as well as our local marine lab on the pier, since dog waste that doesn't get picked up affects the environment so heavily. Social media like Facebook and Instagram can even be utilized to great effect for events, and it can be shared by other people that way. The running community in our area is fairly large, so we would make sure to post our event on their websites too. The event would have to have a snappy and memorable name like Puppy Fun Run, which stands for Pick Up Pet Poo, y'all. My mom helped me with that one. The fun run would be open to people of all ages, and dogs would be encouraged to take part. The sponsorships would help pay for advertising as well as gift bags and giveaways. The gift bag would include an informational flyer that discusses how dog waste is a source of viruses and how it affects marine dwelling animals specifically. We could even do t-shirts with a cute doggy and the name of the event on it. Getting these shirts out would help spread the word and bring attention to both the event and the issue at hand. On the day of the event, we would ask a local public figure to be the host. We would also have volunteers to get people checked in and answer any questions that there may be. These volunteers could also even hand out dog treats for the canines and their companions who cross the finish line. Medals can be given out to commemorate and further promote the cause of always remembering to pick up after your pets.
Yay.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Very good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Well done.
Sounds like the right candidate got the goods.
When we
love
get
the
together
acronym.
again, we'll have a puppy run.
How can you be part of the chapter here?
Maybe.
We could use somebody like that.
Where is your school? You're in Bellingham?
I'm in Port Angeles.
Oh, you're in PA for school.
Yeah. Yeah, I just graduated.
Well, come on around anytime.
All right.
Congratulations on that too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for entering. Does anyone have any questions for Ethan or comments? Further comments?
I'm just interested in what area of fine arts you're interested in, Ethan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm actually majoring in musical theater. So I'll be taking ballet, I'll be having voice lessons, I'll be doing piano, just pretty much everything. I want to be a triple threat, so that's what I'm working on.
Very nice. That's great.
And where did you say you're heading to school? Is that did you
Los
say
Angeles.
That's awesome. There is a Surfrider chapter down there. I'm just saying.
Oh, well, I'll check it out.
Very cool. All right. Well, Ethan, thank you so much for sharing your winning essay with us, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yeah, and feel free to stay on. We'd love to have you.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right. And then where are we at? Here we go. It looks like I lost a slide here for Chris. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so our presentation this evening is from Chris Butler-Minor with NOAA. I think Nicole, I don't know if Nicole had a chance to hop on, but she's in with her family right now. Her sister just had a baby, so she's with family time right now. So yeah, Chris, welcome to the call. Thank you so much. Are you able to share your screen with us for your presentation?
I'm going to try. I believe the answer is yes. We'll see.
Okay, I'm going to stop my screen share, I think.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to share this one. And let's go ahead and start this. Can you guys see? Don't pet waste water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, hello, I'm Chris Butler-Minor, the Community Engagement Specialist for the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary. And I'm so glad to have the opportunity to talk with you tonight about why scooping up pet waste is important for the beneficial qualities of our waterways. And before we get very deep into the discussion, I'd like to give you some background on sanctuaries, waterways, and why I care. So the organization that I'm affiliated with is NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries, which protects a network of underwater treasures that encompass over 600,000 square miles of marine and Great Lake waters. And there are locations everywhere from Washington State to the Florida Keys, from Lake Huron, all the way to American Samoa. And this network includes 14 national marine sanctuaries, plus Rose Atoll and Papahanaumokuakea, which are national marine monuments. And some exciting news is we had our first designation of a new sanctuary last year about this time, Mallows Bay, which is on the Potomac River, and we have 2 additional sites in the Great Lakes that are under review for designation as national marine sanctuaries near Lake Ontario and Lake Michigan. So the yellow star is where I work, which probably is not a big surprise to you since you're all here in Washington as well. So the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary itself was designated in 1994, and it protects nearly 3,200 square miles of marine waters. It includes approximately 135 miles of coastline. It's the longest stretch of wilderness coastline in the lower 48 states. And it complements, or it's complementary to adjoining protected areas, including Olympic National Park, Washington Islands National Wildlife Refuges, Washington State Seashore Conservation Areas, and the newly designated Maritime Washington National Heritage Area, which encompasses about 3,000 square miles, or not square miles, I'm sorry, 3,000 miles of saltwater shoreline in Western Washington. And I don't know if you can see my mouse, but the sanctuary's northern border begins just inside the mouth of the Strait of Juan de Fuca on the southern side of that. And then it curves outwards past the northwestmost point of the continental US to about 40 miles out. Kind of makes a little dog nose, which is sort of appropriate for tonight, right? And then follows the continental shelf southward till about La Push, and then it stays about 25 miles out until it reaches the Copalis River, and then it comes back into the shoreline. The sanctuary is rich in cultural and marine resources. For instance, OCNMS, which is our acronym because, you know, agencies are like that. We love those things. It overlaps the usual and accustomed marine harvest areas of the 4 coastal treaty tribes, the Makah, Quileute, Hoh tribes, and also the Quinault Indian Nation, who have lived along the Washington coast since time immemorial, thanks to the abundant seafood. In addition, fierce weather, isolated rocky shorelines, and heavy ship commerce have made the Olympic coast a graveyard for more than 200 documented historical ships. And then the part that's a little more close to my heart is that the sanctuary also protects a variety of marine resources, like a broad array of habitats such as rocky and sandy intertidal areas, and nearshore kelp forests. We have some really healthy kelp forests, subtidal reefs, open ocean, submarine canyons, some really deep, like thousands of meters deep, and deep sea communities, including methane seeps. We also have 29 species of marine mammals who live in or migrate through the sanctuary. That's nearly a third of all the marine mammals that exist in the world. It also attracts some of the largest seabird colonies in the continental US. And then not least, it has incredibly diverse populations of kelp and intertidal algae, abundant fish, and thriving invertebrate communities. Oops. And let's not forget, it's an amazing place to surf. Okay, so next I want to talk to you about the water cycle, or actually a very brief statement on the water cycle. As you probably know, water is one of the most important resources on Earth. For people, drinking it keeps our bodies functioning properly. Plus, we enjoy looking at it, and we enjoy recreating in water, like fishing or boating, clamming, or surfing. So for marine mammals, it's where they live, so healthy water is critical for them as well. And the water cycle can provide abundant water, the cycle of condensation to precipitation to infiltration, and then out to the ocean, all along that whole pathway. So many things, so many of these functions make water available to so many different habitats. But some of our actions, or really lack of actions, have the effect of overloading these natural cycles like the water cycle by introducing pathogens and bacteria that will end up in our streams and ocean without going through treatment to remove these pollutants. Sorry, I said pollutants. Tried to say it. So what's the big deal? It's not just about aesthetics. America's 83 million dogs, pet dogs, produce some 10.6 million tons of poop every year. There's an organization called Duty Calls. That's a waste removal service. Has estimated that that's enough to fill a line of tractor trailers from Seattle to Boston. And because dog waste can contain bacteria, viruses, and parasitic organisms like E. coli, fecal coliform bacteria, Giardia, and Salmonella, and some of those that have become resistant to whole classes of antibiotics, it's a big deal. And just to give you an example, a single gram of stool contains an estimated 23 million bacteria. A 2002 Health and Science report noted that 20 to 30% of the bacteria in water samples from urban watersheds is attributable to dog waste. And also, just another fun fact is that just 2 to 3 days of waste from 100 dogs can contribute enough bacteria, nitrogen, and phosphorus to close 20 miles of bayshed watershed to swimming and shellfishing, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. And if that's not cringeful enough, it can also get into the air we breathe. Air samples taken in Cleveland, Ohio, and Detroit, Michigan found that 10 to 50% of the bacteria came from dog poop. So now I'd like to go a little bit into nutrient loading. So leaving pet waste on lawns and beaches and trails and sidewalks means that it can wash into storm drains, into streams, or directly into the ocean during rain events, where it can cause harm to human health and to the environment. The extra nitrogen and phosphorus can fuel growth of algae, including harmful algae, and these harmful algal blooms, or HABs, can produce toxins like domoic acid, which can be absorbed by filter feeders, which a few of you mentioned that you like to eat. So filter feeding invertebrates like mussels and clams and oysters, which when consumed by humans can result in paralytic shellfish poisoning. Plus, after the bacteria and algae die, the decay or decomposition process consumes and depletes oxygen in waterways, including the ocean. This lower dissolved oxygen levels in water can deprive marine life of adequate supplies at the tissue level. It's a condition known as hypoxia. And hypoxic conditions can result in higher mortality rates in shellfish, fish, and crab, or these economically and recreationally valuable species may move out of our waters. And our coast is already experiencing the impact of warmer waters, including the extreme events known as marine heat waves, or blobs, that have been occurring more frequently off our coast, that can also lead to algal blooms and dangerous hypoxic conditions. As noted by experts who attended our January workshop to develop our current condition report for Olympic Coast, it's the cumulative effects that are concerning. Under global climate change, hypoxic regions are expected to expand due to warming of the ocean surface and changing circulation patterns. Adding additional stressors from pet waste into our waters will jeopardize coastal communities and cultures who depend on the fisheries as resources, and it will negatively impact recreational use of our water. So, what can any of us do? Because that sounds kind of depressing. Well, actually we can. There are things that we can do to get rid of this issue. For starters, if you have a dog, bring a bag with you when you and your furry friend take a walk. It can be challenging, I admit, to find a bag that's truly biodegradable. But some of the things that you can look for are things that are plant-based or referenced as hydro-biodegradable material. Those are good bets. 2, you can scoop it up. 3, dispose of it properly. And what I mean by that is don't add the bag to any non-industrial scale compost. For starters, like your own personal garden compost bin or the city yard waste bins. They don't generate enough heat to kill the pathogens. And if you can avoid regular trash, that's great. And the reason to try to avoid it is that landfill disposals, they can result in mummified, or what they call mummified waste, because of the pressure and anoxic or lack of oxygen conditions. What you can do is use a commercial or a do-it-yourself dog waste only composting bin. And then when you do go to use that soil, only use it on ornamentals, never on anything that you would eat. And then if you're on a sewer, but not a septic system, this doesn't apply to septic systems. If you're on a sewer, you can use a 100% water-soluble dog poop bag to flush it. And if you aren't near a toilet when you've scooped the poop, you may, say you're out on a walk, you may need to also carry a paper bag to make sure to get it to the right place. And then 4, you can learn more. So a couple of resources you can check out is the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuaries website, or you can check out the Olympic Region Harmful Algal Blooms, and it's got a nice acronym, ORHAB, orhab.org. And then lastly, share this information with people that you know. There's a lot of people that aren't aware of some of the issues. Maybe some people are, but I think, and choose to ignore it, but I think a lot of times we think other people know what the problems are, but they don't. And you can bring it up in a casual conversation or even as a joke, maybe. And then that is all that I had for you at the moment. Do you have any questions for me? Let me get rid of the screen there. Oh, sorry. I'll stop sharing here my screen.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is a good response? Because to people who are like, I'm just gonna throw it like in the woods a little off to the side. There's a lot of wild animals that already poop. How is this any different? Like, what's a good response to that argument for people who don't necessarily want to pick up and move the waste?
That's a great question, and it's valid too. My response would be like, so there are more pets than there are wild animals, and even though dogs naturally would poop in the woods, there naturally wouldn't be as many of them. So it's a matter of volume. It's a matter of the sheer number of pets, and if everybody's doing that, it really becomes a big problem. So let's think about, if one person throws down a gum wrapper, it doesn't look that bad. But if everybody who walks by that day throws down a gum wrapper, you're starting to have quite a mess. That's my response.
Do wild animals typically carry fewer pathogens than domestic dogs?
I'm not 100% sure about that. I would say that the odds of them, if they have a lot of pathogens, they're probably not going to survive, whereas we'll take our pets in and try to get them antibiotics and that sort of thing, and they might have a better survival rate, but that doesn't mean they don't still have pathogens in them, because as I mentioned, a lot of microbial pathogens are becoming immune to our antibiotics.
Have you heard of the like the dog dew dissolver? Have you heard of that before? Like something you could spray on the dog poop and then it like dissolves it. Is that natural? Is it safe to use?
I haven't heard of it, but I would be a little suspicious of it because so it might visibly dissolve it, you know, but that doesn't take care of the problem that exists, you know, beyond aesthetics, you know. So it's not. I doubt that it's killing the bacteria that's in it, or you know, that sort of thing. So I don't know. That would be interesting. So I haven't heard of it, and so I'm totally speaking off the cuff. But I mean, it would be great if it did work. But
right, just like to help the process a little bit more, but still, it would still leach into the, you know, into the soil and run off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the number one difference between the two is that one is an area that humans have control of, and the other is an area where humans have far less control of. And to the extent we can do something about it, that seems to kind of answer that question to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a couple of the like the very first question, you know, we're thinking like, well, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, wild animals do it. But we're not talking about wild animals. We've domesticated these animals and we've created large numbers of them.
We don't have
and
control.
we take them places they wouldn't necessarily go.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have control over volcanic activity, but we do have control over, you know, like how many cows we eat and how much methane gets put into the atmosphere. And certainly we can control dog poop.
It's a pretty easy effort, I think.
Yeah.
So it seems at times like you're actually not allowed to go to the beach unless you have a dog. So what kinds of outreach materials or education literature have you produced that maybe we could get distributed through our chapter, or some way to reach, you know, we reach so few people through our membership. What other ways can we reach out and educate the public?
Well, so we haven't, so let me step back for a second. So myself, I haven't created very many materials. With this project, it kind of got some wheels turning, but I don't have anything aside from this this presentation yet. But there's lots of information available out there. If you just even Google pet waste, there's so much out there. But I mean, one of the things, you know, like Ethan had suggested, you know, being a sponsor or helping to coordinate some sort of a pick up poop y'all run is a way to make it fun and not scolding, and hopefully that can engage people. I know that you guys are the ones that provide the pet waste bins and bags down at like say the Elwha, right, down at Place Road.
Right, and one Santa Can is Surfrider, the other one is Marine Resources Committee.
Yeah, well,
we have one down at the Lyre River also, and 2 Santa Cans at the Twin Rivers.
So one thing, you know, like there may be, I don't know how the organization that owns the Santa Cans or if you own them, but you know, like throw some stickers on there, like no poop, or Surfriders says, let's get in the water, no dog poop, or, you know, something to that effect. I mean, I think that getting the word out there, you know, certainly being serious about it, but also, you know, doing sort of some little cheeky things can make it a little easier for people too. I know that there have been times when we've been on the beach and then we're coming back and I've already used up my bag, and I've been so glad that you guys had that dispenser there.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I think I know a guy who can design really cool art. It might be a little out of his normal wheelhouse, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know he has a dog that he can use as inspiration.
It could help with that. So if chapter sees need, I hate to. Yeah, I got ideas. I always have ideas. So. I
feel
mean,
like,
maybe if I'm assuming you're talking about me.
yeah, definitely. Although Greg's puppy and that image he has is might be a candidate.
That's a 9-week-old Schmidt. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
A lot bigger and a lot smellier now.
And so is my dog.
If we are gonna do some sort of a campaign to put up flyers and stuff, we might want to think about maybe partnering too with the chapters along the ocean beaches, like Westport and Ocean Shores. I know that the domoic acid levels that sort of dictate when they can do razor clam digs out there do affect a lot of like Washington like outdoor recreators. So if you put up some signs around there that like, hey, if you want to dig razor clams more often, maybe pick up after your dog a little bit more, might have a little a higher visibility and more kind of return on investment in terms of like where we're putting the signs and how many people it's reaching.
One of the things when I did the beach etiquette signs in Oregon, they had pick up your pet waste and keep them on a leash. So that could be something we could figure out if we do beach etiquette signs that would go along the coast in a lot of different places, not just beach specific, but that could help educate a lot of people too, because they do look at the signs and
I like
seems
drawing those connections between the dog waste and like the domoic acid levels and like just a simple infographic of like more dog waste, less razor, fewer razor clams,
yeah,
there's a potential there.
And I like Ethan's idea of getting sponsorship with different pet stores or things, different groups that support that or want to help promote that. So there's a lot of opportunities there with Ethan's ideas. We gotta keep him involved. But, yeah.
Maybe you can work on one of your projects, Ethan, can be to come up with a jingle.
Jingle,
that we
there
can
you
put
go.
on the radio.
A little tune.
Or a dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potty dance.
Dog do dance. But don't do the dog do dance.
Well, that's what you have to do if somebody leaves it, because you might step in it, right?
We don't want to be chasing our tails with this.
Hey, this is turning into a really great brain.
Sorry, I had to. Anyway.
I have another question. I don't want to like cut if anybody else has one, but I just saw an email come up about biochar, which I'm not very familiar with, but it sounds like it's got some pretty strong, I know it as more of a soil amendment because it can be very nutrient rich or absorb nutrients and be really good for crops. But I also heard it can also absorb a lot of like pollutants. And so apparently it can be like used to help filter water entering storm drains. And that's as far as I got with my limited research, but I don't know if that's a way to filter out some of that waste before it gets into the waterways.
It seems reasonable. I haven't really done any research, because I've really had the same kind of exposure that you mentioned, that using it for a soil amendment. But I do know that charcoal is used to filter quite a lot of things, so it makes sense that it could.
Fish poop.
Yep.
Yeah, every fish filter is charcoal based. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Yeah, so that makes sense. Or mushrooms, they do a great job.
Swells.
Yep.
I know, like I understand the desire to not offend people and everything, but a tiny bit of shaming with a little bit of humor sometimes can be effective as well, as far as like signs go, along shorelines.
Just a sprinkling of shame.
Just a little bit, yeah, like a little salt.
A half a teaspoon.
A teaspoon, right? Yeah.
Not
Just to develop some ownership.
Not too much, right? You want to make people feel like they're in on the joke, but at the same time, the message comes through.
An ounce of shame prevents a pound of paralytic shellfish poisoning.
Yeah.
There's a phrase in there somewhere. We can make it.
You can call it PSP.
If you can make people feel like it's a little bit of humor and that's something that other people do, but not them, then it might work, yeah.
How we started this conversation, trying to unify everybody. So divisions. No,
it'll work for most. It will work for most, but there are some that are immune to shame, as we've learned recently.
Oh, yeah. Some people just become defiant. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's a good suggestion for most. It won't work on everyone.
Yeah.
Will work on me.
Oh, you shameful human.
Challenge accepted.
I dare you.
All right, guys. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was really entertaining and informative, and we're really grateful for your time.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity, because it is something that's actually important to me, and on a number of levels, some of which I mentioned. And so thanks for giving me a platform.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And
yeah,
you guys are welcome.
We may have to call you to duty again.
Oh, I do have a question. I've only lived on the Olympic Peninsula for a year, so I don't know if there are local ordinances that fine people for not cleaning up after their dogs.
Yeah, there are. I don't know that there are. I don't know of them around here. It's kind of interesting. It's the same conundrum as the folks that are immune to shaming. Some people are like,
the problem is catching them, and then addressing them. If without law enforcement, you're kind of in a banter between two citizens, which can get kind of wonky,
Right. Yeah. No, I do understand that. Yeah.
We also have a leash law in almost every public area, but dogs are often running free.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. No. The reason I ask is that I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I work for the Public Defender's Office here in Clown County, so I have pretty frequent interactions with law enforcement. And I was just wondering if it's a priority.
Good question.
Yeah. It might be something I might be able to, I don't know, address in some way.
Be curious to talk to law enforcement about that.
Yeah, I now that it's come up, I definitely will. Yeah.
Yeah, short of posting. Excuse me.
Go ahead, Joe.
I would say short of posting, guardians at multiple locations, it'd be hard to address the problem. You'd have to be a random, I caught you, kind of a rare thing for a law enforcement officer to be out there looking for that.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of people call in all sorts of things. It would just be adding that to the list of things, but that would require.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's a civil, kind of a civil penalty type situation. It certainly wouldn't be criminal, but I mean, it's something maybe I could look into and see if, what kind of priority there is there.
Yeah, if there's some resources that can address it, that'd be great.
So step 1 is stickers. Step 2 is dance mob. Step 3, lay down the hammer. No, just kidding.
Well,
get out your citizen's arrest badge.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it would be challenging unless you caught them in the act to prove who is the guilty party.
Oh no, you just need a witness. You'd be surprised.
Amazing what you can do with a cell phone on video these days.
Yeah,
True.
that too. Yeah, and the aggressiveness with which local law enforcement pursues other, what I would consider very minor things. No, they certainly don't need somebody driving by in a police car to spot somebody doing it in order to enforce it. I don't think.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest issue is catching them and prosecuting them, making it stick, you know?
Right. And then, having that kind of get out there that, look, we are serious about this issue, and,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to cost you, I don't know, $500 or whatever, whatever the fine might be.
I
for
recall
that
I got
violation.
I recall I got pulled over from I was going from Sequim to Port Angeles, and I rolled down the window and spit out the window because my throat was full of drywall dust. So it was a very visible thing going out the window there, and an officer pulled me over and wanted to know what I threw out the window. He was on it, and luckily he accepted my explanation. It was the truth, but yeah, he was on that. So it does happen.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely does.
He thought I was littering out the window.
That is a hell of a
my,
right? Gross.
yeah, well, I was sanding drywall all day, and I was kind of plugged up with the stuff, And boy, he was on it.
Well, we know you have a mask, Joe. So now I think next time you hang drywall, you should wear it.
Law enforcement.
Oh, those days are over. I'm not hanging drywall no more.
Good for you.
That'll wreck your shoulders for sure.
What if every time we found some dog waste where it didn't belong, we just took a picture and posted it to social media, and we're like, "Hey, tired of seeing dog poop on your social media feeds? Come after your dog."
That was another idea I thought about, because I belong to a few groups here that are Port Angeles based, and there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of members.
Just making them aware.
Yeah.
Put it on the Port Angeles, Washington page on Facebook. Start posting it every 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Every little thing makes a difference, I think.
Right.
You can say -1 crab, -2 clams.
Oh, I like that.
Population, yeah.
I just found an interesting blurb because I was kind of doing a little Google stalking that talks about just the difference between, it's like a leave no trace article between wildlife and domestic dogs. And they did a really good job of explaining how it's in an ecosystem, it's sort of a closed loop. And so like the animals that are living there are consuming resources and basically returning them to the forest, versus like domestic dogs are like an influx of outside like nutrients coming in. So I thought that was
And the other thing is, like, people don't walk their moose along the water. Like it's not like there's just a whole bunch of wildlife along the coast where it's immediately getting basically entering into the coastal ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All great points. Well, thank you, Paul, for taking us off on that side note. And if you do look into it, we would love to hear back from you about any ordinances in Collin County.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'll find out what's going on as far as that goes.
Right on.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you on our team or just on the team litter,
I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Yeah.
I'd be glad to talk with you if you're open to coming down. Say hi, Paul.
Where are you?
I'm at the wharf. Was the landing mall on the bottom floor. I have my art gallery and studio.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. Yep, I know. I think I probably have. I know I've been in there, so I'm sure I've.
Yeah, send me a message or email if you want, or
yeah, definitely.
Be glad to set up an appointment, and come down and chat.
That'd be great.
Or I'd be glad to come meet you.
No, I mean I'm really close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you on the 3rd floor?
No, I'm up on 11th Street.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. And so Todd, why don't you keep on chatting? I know you got a new gallery space, and why don't you provide some updates for us?
Oh yeah. Well, there's been lots happening in the last 2 weeks. I'm just starting to get things put away. But I actually just got the patches yesterday for the new Surfrider Art Chapter logo hats. There you go.
Those look cool.
So I pressed these on today. They're a little bit fuzzy in the wording, but then the stickers came out. I got those earlier this week. Protect access, respect access. And I got my own hat today. So if you guys want one, come down and I'll make one for you. Maybe we could do a chapter member thing, or chair anybody on the board member. Anybody that's been active for a while, we can hook them up with a patch and a hat. We got
Awesome.
the shirts are ready. We got the shirts ready, printed. They're at Swain's. They're available for sale. I don't know if you can see the slide next to on the screen. I don't know who's doing that, but it works out pretty good timing there. So along with Hurricane Ridge and my shirts, Surfrider is in there too with our shirts.
Nice.
They ordered a good batch of them, and then I just dropped off the hats today. So that's fun, and I will be invoicing everybody. I'll be invoicing Swain's, and then I'll pay the due dividends to each, like our chapter or Hurricane Ridge, wherever they go. So everybody gets their payment, I guess.
Well, good job, man.
Yeah, nice work.
Right.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to see it all kind of start to work. So that's all I got. Unless anybody's got any questions, I've got patches and stickers down here if anybody likes to come get a few.
Right on.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Todd. Congrats on the new space. It looks like it's going to be a lot bigger in your studio space. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Are you
good.
going to be there Friday?
I will be here Friday through most of the day till probably about 3:30.
I'll have to pop by because I'm going into the office on Friday.
Yeah, come on in.
Thanks.
Everybody's welcome. I'll wear a mask. I can open the door. I have a door and windows now, so that's cool. And I have a water view. I never thought I'd have a place with a water view.
You've made it. You've arrived.
I'm officially on the beach.
Yeah, living the dream.
I can vouch it's a healing experience.
We could all use
thanks, Todd.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody's support.
Yeah, you're doing great stuff, and we're lucky to have you.